Hey everybody, it's Jasmine, your brow expert. So today's gonna be a brow lift. Well, the non-painful, less expensive brow lift. It's really ideal for the mature ladies. Some of us that are getting older are having this problem, you guys, and you guys know what I mean, where right around the brow bone area here, where it's kind of right in between the ends and the arch, your brow bone kind of recedes inside. So as we age, goes further in, and it just kind of gives it more of a hollow look, making the brow ends further like it's going too far down. So it's taken away from that lift. So I'm going to show you a little tip, a little trick, and you might have seen this before, but it's definitely worth repeating. I've been shaping eyebrows for 25 years at the Anastasia salon in Beverly Hills, and some of you guys come by and said hello and gotten your brows done and gotten some tips. So thank you for that trust. I still obviously love it. I still love shaping eyebrows. So definitely come by, definitely subscribe, because if you do that, it helps me out. If you give me comments and some good feedback, that also helps me. And stick through the whole video. That again helps me. So thank you for your support. This community has been amazing because I love to teach, and I know some of you guys have gotten some things out of it. So I hope this one will help as well. So without further ado, let's look at the model. So as I've said, she's got actually pretty full eyebrows. As you can see, her brow ends are really short and very thin. So, but if you can see all the way down here, she's got strays going all the way down. And what you can't tell here, she is laying down, so you can't tell as much, but right around this area for her, it really recedes. So she's got actually a bit of a narrow face, and because it receives down here, it really looks like it's dragging down. I'm obviously drawing that part down to show you guys how far her hair does grow. I mean, again, she's got strays going all the way down, kind of like how I drew my brows, so that you guys have a really good idea. Now, how do you make that short without making it too short, right? Well, say you do have some strays down there. If you tweeze a little bit of it, it actually makes it look thicker. So what I'm doing is showing you guys, this is how short the brow should be. So if you measure your eyebrows, the corner, the side of the nose and the corner of your eye right here, you know that your brow ends should actually be right here. So big difference on me, and you can also see the difference on her as well. So make that mark, and if you do have hair below that, even if it's a little bit, or even if it's some fuzz, try to tweeze that off. Or if you go to a brow artist and have her or him shape or wax off that piece, makes a big difference, because you're still going to get some brow ends. You're not going to completely take it off, of course. So that just that little adjustment will make that difference. Now, just keep in mind, all the products I use is by Anastasia, and you can get all of the products on her website, anastasia.com. And I will be listing the products, so please list that or screenshot the products that I'm using. Right now, I'm using a highlighter. This one is a Pro Pencil. It's an eyeshadow base. You can also use it as a highlighter, which I do quite a bit. So by placing that underneath the eyebrows, you notice that I also put it all on the side here. Reason being is that, again, it has like a dark shadow right here for her. So if you put a highlighter underneath, and then right where that mark is, it obviously erases that little mark, but it also kind of highlights and brightens. It's more about brightening that area so that that dark shadow is not as dark. So that's also a really good tip for you to do. Even if you have some strays here and there and you're not sure to tweeze or not to tweeze, something like this really does help. If you're very dry, this may not work. A concealer or a liquid foundation could work just as well. So keep that in mind. Okay, so this is perfect, right? You just put some of that, you took some of that off. Now I could probably take a little bit more off, but you know, work with that first and see how low or how high you could go. Okay, so I'm obviously using the brush, just kind of smoothing everything out, and I'm really taking it down here. You guys, this is another great tip. If you take in concealer or highlighter right around here, concealing it, some makeup, you really help block off the sun in that area. So look at that. Much better. See the measurement? It just kind of goes perfectly off the side of the nose, the corner of the eye, and that is where her ends should be. And she can actually go a little bit even higher, meaning the ends can get a little shorter. Why? Because her face is more on the narrow side. If you have a wider face, kind of like me, you don't want it too short, obviously, right? I'm using a brow pen with her because I want something that lasts. And because it's towards the end where most of the color is going to be applied, you can go a little bit more generous with the color. I'm being a little bit more conservative in doing these little angle lines from the middle to the end of the eyebrow. And notice how I'm doing this, kind of going like a outside, like a little angle line to create that further illusion that the brows are lifted, and it's going more to the upper temple area. Again, it's all about that brow lift. So every little bit counts, you guys. So I'm just making these little lines, and it just blends in so nicely. Keep in mind, she had a full set of eyebrows up in the front. It was really the middle to the end that needed that adjustment. Even though you guys don't have a lot of eyebrows like maybe her up in the front, if you make those little adjustments in the end, I promise you, you will see a difference. So again, I chose the brow pen so that way it lasts, right? It can get a little messy and dark and intimidating, but work with it. Make sure you have a spoolie brush. Like I use the spoolie brush on her, so that way it blends the color out. So if you don't want to do these little hair strokes, you can just add the color on the ends. It's going to get dark. That's why the spoolie brush is important, because when you go over that, it really tones it down. So you just do these little angle lines, and you're barely touching your eyebrows. And I'm just making these little lines going out. Now, if it gets a little too ridiculous and out, don't worry about it, because you could always tone that down, fix that. And this is the time where you really want to go out. So notice that it's going in an angle this way, almost to that middle temple right there. And that's pretty much it. I'm just going these little fast little scratch marks. Fast, so that way it doesn't get too dark in one little area. Okay, so the brow gel, look at that. So important, because you notice how the front of the eyebrows now is kicking up. I'm not going to do that much on myself because I don't have hair that much up here, if at all. Just a little bit. Because my brows have been tattooed, I don't have as much hair as she does. But did you see that kind of lift? I'm going to just erase this here. And look at it. I just already have that lifted up. If I just look right at you, it's now more lifted. You're going to see the before and after real soon. But big difference. So that's why the brow gel also helps. People wonder, do I need a brow gel? A lot of my clients forget to use it. I always encourage them to do so. So look at that. I mean, I moved the head so that way you can see all those little lines right out here. Just kind of giving it a little bit more of a realistic look, really. But again, you don't have to do those little lines. You can just smudge some color out there and just spoolie the brow pen. Because right here, most of us don't have that much hair. And when you put brow product on hair, it lasts longer. When you have more skin than hair, it doesn't last as long, right? So you want to use something that's like a waterproof, really. And this really does stay on all day. And like I said, it can get intimidating, but just make sure you always have a spoolie brush on hand and comb through whatever you do. And you can just see from looking at my eyebrows, it works. Now look at this before and after. Great brows before, even better brows after, right? Because right here, the ends, if you can see it, right here, the strays are nicely cleaned off. And trust me when I tell you, when you look at yourself head on, it just gives you that kind of illusion that it's lifted up more. Even a little light shadow down here makes a difference where it's dragging down. So that a little adjustment, I did kind of lift up a little bit on her lower brow right here when I shaped, but not much, because you don't want the front to be so thick that it's causing the rest to be too skinny. There needs to be a tiny bit of balance. But I didn't want the front to be too thin, so I kept the fullness as much as possible, but lifting a tiny bit. But it's on this video, it's really about just adding all that color up here and out of the ends and keeping the ends kind of short. That's what I really want to come across on this video. So I hope this helped you guys. Let me know if it does. I mean, some of you guys have let me know that this has really been a life changer for some of you. So it's been great for me to know that I'm creating content that is helping all of you guys. So, and thank you for sticking with me on this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Again, that helps me. And I will see you guys right back here. Thank you for your time.